Do you want to start a YouTube channel at 50? I hope you do, because it's the most life-changing decision you can make at this stage of your life. I started my YouTube channel just 6 weeks ago. That's right, just 6 weeks ago at 52 years old, and yet here's my analytics after 6 weeks. 12,400 views, 237 subscribers, 815 likes, 163 comments, and 91 shares. Now maybe that's not spectacular compared to some 20-year-old influencers, but I think that's pretty incredible for someone who had never even posted a video before and is doing this at 50 years old. In this video, I want to share with you the exact 3-step system that I used to launch my channel 6 weeks ago and why starting at 50 might actually be your biggest advantage. Here's the secret though, and this is crucial to understand. Even though I started my channel 6 weeks ago, I started planning my channel 4 months ago. That's right. 4 months ago, I made the decision that I was going to become a YouTube creator. Here's what I discovered. You need patience and strategic thinking to do this right, especially at our age. We're not 20-year-olds who can just wing it and hope for the best. We have responsibilities, we have experience, and we have wisdom that we need to leverage properly. The secret is that starting at 50 is actually an advantage if you approach it correctly. Let me tell you why 50 is the perfect age to start YouTube. First, you have life experience that younger creators simply don't possess. You've lived through decades of real experiences, you've solved real problems, you've overcome real challenges. Second, you have credibility that comes with age and experience. When you speak, people listen because they know you've been there and done that. Third, you likely have more financial stability than younger creators, which means you can invest in better equipment and take your time to do things right. Fourth, you have patience and discipline that comes with maturity. And fifth, there's a massive audience of people our age and older who are hungry for content from someone who understands their perspective. So here are the 3 steps that will transform you from someone who's never posted a video to a confident YouTube creator with a growing channel. Step 1 is proficiency. Step 2 is passion. And step 3 is process. Each step took me approximately 1 month to complete, but the results speak for themselves. Let's dive into step 1. Proficiency. This is your education phase, and it's absolutely critical that you don't skip this step. During my first month, I consumed an enormous amount of educational content about YouTube. I spent approximately 2 hours every single day for 30 days learning everything I could about this platform. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that sounds overwhelming, and maybe you don't have 2 hours a day to dedicate to this. Here's the beautiful thing about being 50. You can be strategic about your learning. I didn't just randomly watch videos. I created a systematic approach to my education. I identified the top YouTube educators in the space, and I went through their content methodically. Let me share with you the specific resources that made the biggest difference in my education phase. The first creator I studied extensively was Sean Cannell from Think Media. Sean has created the most comprehensive and well-organized educational content about YouTube that I've ever seen. The second creator who became invaluable to my education was Kevin Colby. Kevin's approach is very practical and down to earth, which I appreciated as someone who was completely new to this world. The third creator who made a huge impact on my learning was Alexia Saro. What I love about Alexia is that she shares her real-time journey and results, which gave me realistic expectations. But here's what I want you to understand about the education phase. It's not just about watching videos. You need to be actively learning and taking notes. I filled up an entire notebook during this first month. I also want to share with you a specific learning strategy that worked incredibly well for me. Instead of trying to learn everything at once, I focused on one topic per week. Week 1 was understanding the YouTube algorithm. Week 2 was content creation and storytelling. Week 3 was technical aspects like filming and editing. Week 4 was optimization, thumbnails, and titles. Now, I need to address something that might be holding you back. You might be thinking that you're not tech savvy enough to learn all of this. Let me tell you something. I barely knew how to use my smartphone properly when I started this journey. But here's the advantage of being 50. You have the patience and discipline to learn things properly. By the end of my first month, I had a comprehensive understanding of how YouTube works and the confidence that comes from knowledge. This brings us to step 2, passion. This is where you identify your niche and start creating content, but not in the way you might think. The passion phase is about discovering what you're truly excited to talk about and developing a content strategy around that passion. This is where being 50 becomes a massive advantage because you have decades of experience, knowledge, and expertise that younger creators simply don't possess. During my second month, I went through a systematic process to identify my niche. I made a list of everything I was passionate about, everything I had expertise in, and every problem I had solved in my life. Then I narrowed down this list by asking myself 3 key questions for each potential niche. First, am I genuinely excited to create content about this topic for the next several years? Second, do I have enough knowledge and experience to provide real value to an audience? And third, is there an audience of people who would be interested in this content? For me, the answer was clear. I had spent 25 years in corporate management, I had gone through a career transition in my 40s, and I had started my own consulting business. My passion was helping other people in their 40s and 50s who felt stuck in their careers or wanted to start something new. This became my niche, career transformation and entrepreneurship for people over 40. Once I identified my niche, I started developing content ideas, and this is where I want to share with you 2 tools that became absolutely essential to my success. The first tool is a small digital voice recorder that I carried with me everywhere during this phase. Whenever I had an idea for a video, I would immediately record it. The second tool is a dedicated notebook for content planning. I carried this notebook everywhere, and whenever I had an idea, I would write it down immediately. By the end of my second month, I had written down over 200 content ideas. That's right, over 200 video topics that I was genuinely excited to create content about. This gave me enough content for literally years of consistent posting. During this phase, I also started to understand my unique value proposition. For me, it was that I was speaking from experience, not theory. I wasn't a 25-year-old giving career advice based on books. I was someone who had actually lived through these experiences. I also developed my content pillars during this phase. Content pillars are the main categories of content that you'll create. For my channel, my content pillars became career transition strategies, entrepreneurship for beginners, personal development for people over 40, and success stories. Having these pillars made it much easier to organize my content ideas. Step 3 is process, and this is where everything comes together. This is where you learn the technical skills, create your first videos, set up your channel properly, and launch your YouTube presence. During my third month, I focused on mastering the technical aspects of content creation. The first technical skill I had to master was filming. I started with just my smartphone, and I want you to know that your smartphone is probably capable of creating much better video than you realize. I spent the first week just practicing filming myself talking to the camera. One of the biggest challenges I faced was getting comfortable on camera. The key is to imagine that you're talking to one specific person who would benefit from your message. The second technical skill I had to master was editing. I chose to use CapCut, which has both a free version and a paid version. I started with the free version, and it was more than adequate for my needs as a beginner. I approached it systematically and patiently, watching tutorial videos and practicing with sample footage. The third technical skill I had to master was thumbnail creation. Thumbnails are incredibly important because they're often the first thing people see when deciding whether to click on your video. I use Canva for thumbnail creation, which has templates specifically designed for YouTube thumbnails. But here's the most important part of the process phase. I created my first 10 videos before I published anything. That's right, I filmed and edited 10 complete videos before I made my channel public. This gave me a buffer of content so that I could maintain a consistent posting schedule right from the beginning. During this phase, I also developed my posting schedule. I decided to post twice per week on Tuesdays and Fridays. I created a content calendar that mapped out what I would post for the next 3 months, which gave me a clear roadmap. Now let me share with you what happened when I actually launched my channel. My very first video was titled, "Why I Started My Business at 50 and You Should Too." In the first week, this video received 347 views, which I thought was incredible for someone with 0 subscribers. My second video performed even better, receiving over 600 views in its first week. By the end of my first month, I had published 8 videos and had gained 63 subscribers. The second month was when things really started to accelerate. I published 8 more videos, and my subscriber count grew to 157. My most successful video was How to Start a Business at 50 with No Money, which received over 2,000 views. Let me share with you some specific strategies that worked particularly well for me as a 50-year-old creator. First, I leveraged my professional network. I reached out to former colleagues and clients and let them know about my new YouTube channel. Second, I focused on storytelling. Every video included personal stories and real examples from my own experience. Third, I positioned myself as a mentor rather than an influencer. Fourth, I was incredibly consistent with my posting schedule. Fifth, I engaged authentically with my audience, responding to every comment in my first few months. Now let me address some challenges you might face as a 50-year-old starting YouTube. The first challenge is imposter syndrome. Let me tell you something. Your experience and wisdom are incredibly valuable. The second challenge is technology overwhelm. The key is to take it one step at a time. The third challenge is comparison to younger creators. You're not competing with them, you're serving a different audience. The fourth challenge is family and social pressure. Don't let other people's limited thinking limit your potential. Let me also share some tools that have been invaluable. For filming, I use my iPhone with a simple tripod and external microphone. For editing, I use CapCut Pro. For thumbnails, I use Canva Pro. For continued education, I recommend the channels I mentioned, Think Media, Kevin Colby, and Alexia Saro. Regarding monetization, YouTube offers several ways to monetize once you meet their requirements of 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. However, you can start earning through affiliate marketing and your own services even before that. For me, monetization started happening around month 4, and by month 6, my channel was generating significant revenue. Starting YouTube at 50 has been personally transformative. It's given me a new sense of purpose, connected me with amazing people, and proven that age is not a barrier to starting something meaningful. You have experience, wisdom, credibility, and patience that younger creators don't have. You have stories and knowledge that people desperately need to hear. The 3-step system I've shared, proficiency, passion, and process, will give you a solid foundation for success. Don't let anyone tell you that you're too old to start something new. Don't let fear of technology hold you back. You have lived a life full of experiences, and those experiences have value. I challenge you to take the first step today. Start with the proficiency phase and begin educating yourself. Then move into the passion phase and identify your niche. Finally, move into the process phase and start creating your first videos. Remember, you don't have to be perfect to start, but you have to start to be perfect. The world needs what you have to offer. Your experience matters. Your wisdom has value. Your story deserves to be told. If you found value in this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment below and let me know what your YouTube channel will be about. Remember, if you ain't dead, you ain't done, and at 50, you're just getting started.